In the summer of 1974, several people were enjoying the swimming pool on the coast of North Carolina, having a ball, enjoying the beautiful weather, and getting a tan. But ironically, due to this organized, playful chaos, the destruction behind them, approximately less than a half of a mile, was not even observed. Video footage remains of this entire incident. The horrific, devastating explosion and crash was not captured on video, but the closed-circuit TV was turned on shortly after. If we pan up to the left, we can see a very distinct, fiery explosion with smoke billowing out from behind the second set of piers towards the top left. There are several beachgoers who are screaming and waving and trying to get the attention of this pool party as the adjacent homes down the line on either side, for about 6 or 7 homes, were abandoned or not occupied for other reasons, including timeshare coordination, selling of the property, or some other reason. Due to the music being so loud and the pool partiers dancing and having fun and yelling and screaming, they were unable to hear the repeated screams from these people. They continued screaming and yelling for several minutes until the last survivor unfortunately perished within the flames. Police would later realize that within this video footage, the actual culprit who started the tinder with a very low threshold for combustion, it was a perfect match of a crazy person who knew just what to do to cause havoc and destruction at a wedding party right there, just off camera at the beach. Everything, including the freshly painted gazebo, the paper and streamers, as well as the gasoline propane grill, everything that was flammable in that party certainly no longer existed later that day. As we pan around, we're actually going to discover the culprit this day, and if we start here at the bottom middle, we see a gentleman upside down in the water. He was later ruled to be an innocent 20-year-old college student who had taken a semester off and was just trying to get his mind right, so you can see that he was not the culprit. We could see another gentleman bouncing on some type of turtle raft or some fun thing like that towards the back of the pool. He's 48-year-old retired air traffic controller, and he was later cleared of any involvement in this horrible, horrible mess of a disaster. If we scroll through some more to the left and up close towards the camera, we can see several folks dancing. They were later determined to be part of a new slow dance group, a slow motion dance group, where they're basically simulating time slowing down. It would have been nice this day if time had slowed down or slimmed down so that the first rescuers would have had time to get to the victims before they perished in the fire. Some of the folks who perished, unfortunately, burned to death. Others inhaled a toxic magnitude of smoke sufficient to knock them unconscious, and the rest was unfortunately history. As we go through the pool, we can look across the pool to the end and we can see a lady meditating. It was later ruled that she was meditating for world peace, so this did not really align with the type of personality who would cause such destruction, so the police quickly moved away from her. If we look over here at the bottom right of the video feed, we see what seems to be two little girls playing with a ball, kind of in a relaxed manner. These two girls were a suspect for several days, owing to the fact that they were really quiet and secretive and kept basically shirking responsibility to answer the questions during the interrogations, saying, "I want my mommy and please talk to my daddy." So this did raise suspicion, and they were held for the maximum threshold within the jail system of 48 hours. Unfortunately released back to their parents, but later it was discovered, although they were not the nicest and cooperative pair, it was discovered they had a rock-solid alibi, as they were on a separate video feed at an adjacent house who these girls also knew, and so they could have been placed that entire time. As far as the other people you see in the video here today, several of the people were coming and going, so this is included today. We're going over this particular video just because this was a segment of time when most people think all of the potential suspects were all at the pool at the same time. So in addition to the gentleman bouncing on the floor float. We also see a man, a younger man, perhaps 25, 26 years old, also floating in the pool, kind of dipping and relaxing. He was later determined to be John. John had the first name and the last name the same. Very nice symmetry there. But later determined that he had a fetish, kind of incidentally found this out. He had a fetish for chlorine. And so if anywhere there was chlorine, this gentleman was going to be. So there was really no reason for him to leave the pool area. And of mention, he does not like saltwater pools, which I have often wondered, does that translate to the ocean? If we scroll across a little bit further and roll our eyes or scroll up to the top right, we can see a lady relaxing, maybe doing some work by the beach. Her alibi was simply the fact that she was logged in real time to her employer, Waffle House Incorporated, doing some of the business side of their business, and so certainly she was not a suspect. We do see some people dancing. In addition to the aforementioned cluster of people dancing, we see another group dancing farther away on the other side of the pool to the right. These dancers, as well as the other dancers, had ironclad alibis for the simple fact that they had remained there for the most part of the party, with the exception of one of the gentlemen in the back group had to walk out to his car to grab something. But luckily, when he turned on his car to turn the air on because it was a hot day, his dash cam had inadvertently twisted or loosened so that the video feed was capturing him. And while he did what he needed to do in his car, the video captured all of that, providing him with an alibi. We also see a gentleman floating, see what seems to be floating. He thinks he's floating, so perhaps it was engaged in some marijuana intake, partaking in that illegal, illicit, mind-altering drug. And so it looks like he thinks he's floating above the beach recliner there. He had another rock-solid alibi because he had run to the store to buy a bunch of different foods, including potato chips, candy bars, popsicles, some of those round pizzas that you can microwave and they're ready in no time at all. Stouffer's macaroni and cheese, they're like the big tank, the big bins of those. So he was on an eating binge. So we know that video feed confirms he was not around at the time of this horrific deed. We also see a couple of businessmen, very peppy in their steppy, up on the steps just behind the lady who's working for a Waffle House. These were discovered to be homeless in the sense that, or unemployed people, not homeless, but unemployed folks who were coming out to just solicit, kind of free-balling to see if they could get a job. So they put on their best work attire and brought their suitcase and the resume and some of their skill sets. And so they were just trying to blend in and try to see if they could secure a job or a prospective job with one of these nice people here. And their alibi was simply the fact that they just seemed nice and they just wanted a job, so the police rightly moved on from them. However, there was a person that you see drinking suspiciously over and over and over and over towards the back, a little bit to the left of the lady meditating. It was learned that he was drinking some type of alcohol-laced beverage. Just off camera, we can't see it, but there was a bin of some type of fruit infused vodka, and he actually ended up having alcohol poisoning minutes after the video ended here, this video clip, and so he was literally passed out. In fact, he almost passed away, not just out, but away. Luckily, he was rushed to the emergency room. If we kind of scroll around a little bit more, we do see some other folks, like a lady in the pool floating around on a duck, an inflatable duck. It was later ruled that she could not have in any way been complicit in this dastardly deed simply because she had no use of her arms. As it was explained to the police, she was unable to move her arms or legs, but mainly her arms and her fingers, and so it would have been impossible for her to have had a lighting device, matches, something like that, to start the blaze. She said it was a transient type of disorder. It would come and go kind of chaotically, but she gave them their word that at the time her hands were not able to move. She would not have been able to do that. So she was quickly and completely cleared from suspicion. If we look way back in the back, there's a house. So it's really the next house, but it's pretty offset, pretty far down from the backyard here with the pool. If we zoom in, we could actually see a brother and a sister, each in their bedrooms, innocently playing music. One singing, I think the girl's singing, and the boy is maybe playing the saxophone or some type of instrument. So these are just good kids. They're just playing their music. music. If we pan to the left, we can see out on the porch there, kind of overlooking the shore. It looks like two younger brothers, or maybe two boys, maybe friends, sitting out and having an existential conversation. And it was determined that the personality type that has existential conversations and has such a brotherhood, fellowship, brothership type elicitation, or a type of exuding quality about them would not align with this type of dastardly destruction. So they were quickly cleared. If we zoom back just a little bit, it kind of go towards the middle, but from the back of the video, we can see two or three, or maybe three or so eccentric dancers. These folks like to come out here and get attention, classic narcissists who really crave that attention. But it was found that they had been there for 4 hours, kind of dancing and trying to outcompete the other, each one wanting to be the best and have the most attention. And so when the police figured, when they somehow ended up all there together, these three intense narcissists, that they just kind of glued to each other and set up a situation to where none would leave until they felt satisfied that they were dancing the best. And this persisted well into the night, so they were quickly cleared. If we kind of do a scan here across the video, I'm going to tell you guys, and thanks for watching this video, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys who the suspect actually was. If you'd like to just take a look for a minute and kind of rule out in your own mind who we've ruled out together so far, and maybe look and see if you see anybody that is suspicious that might catch your eye. All right, and we're going to start to zoom in on the suspicious person starting now. This person was found with the device that actually started the fire. That was confirmed to have been witnessed by several wedding attendees, including the bride and including the groom. If we zoom in a little bit further, we can actually see kind of this sinister woman who is concealing her face. So that was smart on her part, right, to conceal her face, but trying to blend in with the eccentric dancers. Herself a narcissist, she found a place to just fit in and blend in. But unfortunately for her, the police zoomed in on the video as we're doing now, and they quickly discovered that there was a lighter which started the fire, and confirmed, as mentioned, by multiple wedding attendees and participants, including the bride and groom, discovered the lighter on her still. It was taped to her umbrella in her feeble attempt to conceal the more or less weapon, the device of destruction. So this lady was taken to the county jail and booked, fingerprinted, and her umbrella was also confiscated from her, and the case was closed. So if it's helpful to you to go back and watch this video again, maybe turn the sound off, maybe leave it on again, and reconsider the suspects in the context of what you know now, and just keep an eye on that lady there, and then maybe it will all come together. Now the people that we mentioned near the beginning that were toward the left, that were trying to wave for attention and wave for help, actually two of those people, just after the camera feed ended, two of those people fell backwards into the fire and also perished. And then another third person that was there, so two of the ones fell backwards into the fire, into the flame, and quickly toasted up. Those were the ones on the far left. And then another one on the far right actually fell forward and broke their neck, and they ended up in the hospital for an extended period. And then additionally, one more person, a man, fell backwards. He was a little far down from the fire, but when he fell backwards, he actually fell on something like a stick that was pointed in or a rock. He fell and hit his head on something, and so now he's intubated in the hospital and not in good shape. So thank you for watching today's crime detection videos. I'm going to try to do more of these in the future. I was lucky enough to get my hands on this particular video, but I will keep looking and searching for these types of videos. Thank you so much for watching. I realized the other day that I have up to 2 views, and if I keep this going, I might have to create a Patreon account. But I do want to say thank you. Please hit that subscribe button and the like button, and post comments. I will respond to all of your comments. So for Pool, Prowess, and Mysteries Detection Stories, we'll see you soon, and have a nice day.